They make you think that there's an outside evil monster devil so that you don't actually see the real devil at play here, which is people and institutions that we have given our power to. And we allow them to tell us, how we should live, what we should be doing, who our famous musicians will be because they tell us these people are famous in all their talk shows. And that's the real devil. But if they've got us, believing in some dark figure over here in the corner, then we kind of just keep letting this slide. They've been controlling us for millennia. The Roman Empire has embedded itself and taken on other names. They're still at play today. And they use religion to keep you blind to them. They're the devil. If you want a devil,
freedom will soon be completely gone. Central banks are planning to replace all cash with digital currencies, which will be connected to your digital ID. The SEC is starting to crack down on crypto exchanges like MetaMask too. If you control a nation's money, you control everything. The main threat to their tyranny is decentralized money. Once they shut down decentralized crypto and introduce their own digital currencies, they'll be able to monitor every transaction, limit what you can spend, and even delete your funds at will. This sort of system is already in place in China. If you speak out against the government or try to expose them on social media, they have the ability to freeze all of your accounts and leave you starving. Imagine losing access to all of your money when your digital ID shows that you haven't received your 18th booster shot of the year.
I'm not sure how many people here are familiar with the basics of my work, and I'll just try and go very briefly through that so you can understand where I'm coming from. As a journalist and as a programmer and as someone who was involved in the embryonic internet and bringing the internet to people and bringing that great tool of information and publishing freedom to people, I saw that we could achieve a lot of reform with a little bit of work. And of course you all know this, and you should remember Solzhenitsyn's words that in the right moment one word of truth outweighs the world. And Solzhenitsyn was referring to a world of lies. But this still is true for information across the world. And it's also true for information in the West, that in some cases one classified video can possibly stop a war. And maybe 50 definitely can.
Have you ever recalled in your life more separation from the people and those who are governing the people?
No.
It's like they don't give a fuck. This is clearly like something that the people are not for. Funding Israel anymore, funding Taiwan, funding Ukraine. People are clearly not for this. The polls show it, and they just like.
Well, we've talked about that before. It's like we'd ask that question to each other. Like, what do you do to change that as the average Joe? And the answer is a vote. Vote for the right person, right?
I don't know
at this point, like, how do you even know if that matters?
Because they talk about now that the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who's a Republican, he just completely went against his
180.
party.
Yep.
Said, "Fuck it, I'm funding. Like, we're doing this. I don't care what you say." So they're talking about this whole. It's just a uniparty now.
About our ideas. They don't want a debate. Those ideas won't produce outcomes that any rational person would want under any circumstances. those are manifestations of some larger force acting upon us. It's just so obvious. It's completely obvious.
Has strategically, for decades in this country, worked to take over every pillar of American culture and society. On my live stream last week, we read the published 40 goals for the Communist Party from 60 years ago for how to take over America. And it was things like taking over the church, taking over the education system, taking over the entertainment industry. And if you start thinking about it, the left has hijacked the education system. We see that easily on college campuses, but everywhere else too. They've taken over the entertainment industry. They've taken over the mainstream media. They've taken over published reports like this one, the judicial system, the political system in America.
I'm Reggie Littlejohn, co-founder of the Sovereignty Coalition and founder of the Anti-Globalist International Organization. The two treaties that are going to be voted on in May 27th of this year, just a few weeks from now, are the greatest threat to freedom that the world has ever faced. Public health is being used as a tool for total control. This is not a public health issue. It's an instrument to introduce Chinese-style totalitarianism to the United States and to the world. Now, the international health regulations, if the WHO gets what it wants, they will be able to mandate vaccines, mandate masks, mandate lockdowns, and mandate quarantines in the United States and all over the world. Also, they will be able to mandate that the governments of the world surveil and censor their citizens, no doubt through mandatory digital IDs, which can be used as the basis of a China social credit system style rule of totalitarian control.
And don't be distracted at this moment. Don't you be distracted. Let's not America be distracted by what's happening in this building or what's about to happen in this building behind us. As bad as that is, and it's bad, but as bad as that is, we can do two things at once. We can pay attention to the other things that are happening around the globe and in this country. And as we speak, President Biden is planning to cede the sovereignty of the United States of America to the internationalists and the World Health Organization. The ability to decide between you and your doctor what medicine you take or do not take, whether you wear a mask or not, whether you leave your home and where you go is all potentially being ceded by this president of the United States based on a signature, subverting and disregarding the Constitution of the United States, bypassing the Senate, saying it's not a treaty, doing the exact same thing that President Obama did with the Iran nuclear deal. That was bad then, and it's a precursor. It's a warning of what might happen very, very soon. So we're gathered here today to make sure that you're all aware of what we're all aware of, that we're awake, and that we make sure that President Biden is not allowed to just sign on our behalf, and that the Senate rejects any attempt by the World Health Organization to take away our individual medical freedom, our individual choices, our choices to move about our country, our community, our homes as we please. That is literally what is at stake right now. And then be forced to pay for it without even knowing what the bill is. It is unacceptable. The fact that we even have to have this press conference is breathtaking. But every single day you wake up and you say to yourself, well, what more can it be? I can't believe what just happened. They can't do anything else. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as bad as it is, and as bad as it is in dealing with this government taking away our rights every single day, just imagine how difficult it's going to be to drag our rights back away from some international organization of bureaucrats that aren't even elected, that don't care about America, don't care about our Constitution, and don't care about what we think.
This goes far beyond the pandemic. It is a global coup d'etat against which it is essential that people rise up and that the still healthy organ of state start an international juridical process. The threat is imminent and serious. since the World Economic Forum is capable of carrying out its subversive project, and those who govern nations have all become either enslaved or blackmailed by this international mafia.
It will mean the establishment of a worldwide totalitarian biotech.
What is this black swan event? What is it that lurks and looms? What is it that slouches towards Bethlehem to be born now? Let's have a look at the New York Times and their celebration of the deep state, and the legacy media's relationship with the deep state, and the numerous anonymous anodyne sounding agencies that crush dissent on behalf of the deep state, and the necessity that we not only remain informed and educated, but that we awaken on some profound level.
All of that, they are still determined to pull through with their plan. Single lie is being repeated. They do not stop.
So there's the new pandemic treaty that's in the process of being approved by the British government and many governments around the world. And also there's the amendments to international health regulations. Now, a lot of people are interpreting this as a power grab by the World Health Organization to try and control, well, quite a lot of things, really.
When your identity is defined by society, you cannot resist it. You don't have the knowledge, you don't have the wisdom, you don't have the resources to understand that something's being put over on you. You cannot but help believe the definition of you as a free agent. But you believe yourself to be a free agent as a result of not being free. That is to say, of being hopelessly unable to resist society's identification of you.
There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls.